Back of the net to Gretzky. In front to Murphy. Shoots. He scores!
We all know that hockey has given us some great memories in this country.
Canada have won the series.
And the national team has played the biggest role. As Canadians, the game has always meant something to us. It was beyond mere wins and losses, but really it was about the wins.
Team Canada wins!
That's a lot of pressure to put on this guy here, the president and CEO of Hockey Canada. Bob Nicholson oversees all aspects of that game, from beginners to the Olympics.
The golden goal!
And for every gold medal or victory celebration, there are the disappointments and the losses. And in this country, when Team Canada loses a game, we get all crazy. What does it mean about us as a people? You know that old saying, it's all fun and games until someone loses to Russia. Bob's also responsible for player safety and has to deal with some tough questions, like what do you do about headshots on that level? How do you deal with fighting, especially among the kids?
There's just no place for this type of action in the game, and you know, it's really the coaches and Minor Hockey Association that have to take the leadership here.
Bob's got other challenges too. How do you sell the game to a population that simply wasn't raised on hockey? Maybe they might be more interested in soccer or cricket. Well, now with the World Junior Hockey Championships just around the corner and many Canadians getting set to watch it, Bob is preparing our top prospects for battle in Alberta. Plus, there's a new book celebrating the tourney and the legacy of Hockey Canada. It's called 30 Years of the Game at its Best. Bob Nicholson, a window into our way of life with all its joys and sorrows.
Please welcome everybody, the man in charge of our game, Bob Nicholson. Hello, brother. Hey, good to see you, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, Bob, 2 years without a gold medal at the World Juniors. Is it panic time?
You know what? No, we've been in the gold medal game 10 years in a row. We just got to get it done this year. And you know what? It's back in Canada. And this tournament is, you know, such a tradition here in this country.
I mean, obviously, I'm like anybody else that the only option is winning. But I do think that if we kept winning every year, it wouldn't be special. And you know, when we lose, and that sucks. But that game last year was out of this world, you know. And who knows if there's a rematch? How crazy could that be?
Yeah, you know what? We let that one slip away. You know, the year before we lost to a real good U.S. team, and you know, it's tough. There's so many good teams. People don't understand. You know, it's a global game, and you know, I'm so proud of our players. We've got such great depth here. And you know what? This is a new team and a new journey for them to go after the gold.
And for the strength of the World Juniors to continue, other countries have to get better. That gap has to close.
Yeah, you know what? The other countries are spending a lot of money. They're really working on their development. I see what they're doing in Sweden and the U.S. Hey, who's kidding who? It used to be Canada, Russia all the time. Now Canada, U.S. The players just love that rivalry.
We got a couple of NHL arenas here too, right?
Yeah, first time that we've been in 2 rinks. It's been sold out for over a year. I think 170,000 people on a waiting list to get tickets. Like, it's crazy.
How about for the players being on a rink like that?
You know what? You talk to the players through all the years that get to play. You know, there's such emotion. First time putting on the Canadian jersey, and you know, the TV numbers, everything is it's special. But the Canadian players, you know, they have one goal, and that's to win the gold medal. There's a lot of pressure, but that's what Canadians, where they want them to be.
If it were your kids, right?
Yeah.
Would you ever want your kid at that age to feel the kind of pressure that a small group of people have to feel? Before they're almost equipped to deal with it.
You know what? I've been around it for a number of years now, and you know what? You see kids grow through this. We've got our under-17 program, our under-18 program, and they've learned a lot through that. They love it. They absorb it. Hey, they're so disappointed. Last year in Buffalo, they were devastated. But it's a growing experience. They all want to be NHL stars, and this is a huge step.
Absolutely, it is. Okay, so a couple of things we need to look at. A lot of conversation about the health of hockey players right now. It starts at a very young age, as you know. As a guy who has to oversee this, do you look at what's happening with injuries in the NHL and concussions and all that and try to address it early on?
Yeah, you know, we can't look at the NHL. We got to look at it way before that. But the key is we got to get respect back. Respect from the player to player in the game of hockey. That's the most important thing. And you know what, fighting, we got to remove fighting. We got to remove fighting from junior down, and then hopefully the NHL one day.
Have you seen the negative effects of fighting on the game?
Well, you know what, I see a shift in the demographics of Canadians. You know what, everyone wanted fighting. I don't think the Canadians want it the same that they used to.
I think you're right. Well, if you look at the registration numbers, it's down amongst boys, but it's up amongst girls, which I think is really key.
Yeah, we really have to look at so many new Canadians. Have to, not every 2-year-old gets a pair of skates under the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So we got to get out to those new Canadians, into the schools, and promote hockey differently. And if we continue to have a lot of players playing the game, you know what, we're going to win gold medals. But we've got to make sure it's healthy at the young ages.
Well, you got to keep people to play. The other thing what hits to the head is that concussions aren't always hits to the head. They're hits to the shoulders, man. And you can't take checking out of the game. So at what age is too young? I mean, was it now roughly around 11 that
yeah,
they're getting hit?
you know, that's the debate of when should you introduce body checking. Body checking is the key. You should introduce checking as soon as they start to play. There's backward skating, angling, containment, all of those things, body contact, then body checking.
Now, rubbing a guy out on the boards, rubbing a girl out at the boards, that's the game, right? That's different.
Yeah, we never want to take that away. But we want to make sure that they learn the skill. And it's a tough skill to learn.
You know, one of the things that scares people about, it's not just hockey, it's a thing in life. It scares all parents. And Graham James finally pled guilty, right? And that's a big part of hockey. We saw it with Penn State in NCAA football. Parents are now looking at where their kids are going and are their kids going to be safe. How did you feel about the guilty plea?
Well, you know what, I've been involved in that right from the start with Sheldon Kennedy, and you know what Sheldon has done to help this game. Those are things that are in our game, but they're in society. And as a parent, you have to make sure that you really understand, you know, the situation you're putting your son or your daughter.
You know, when James got the lifetime ban, was it 1997? How did you change the organization to protect kids?
You know what, I'm really proud of the organization. We put a lot of safety programs in place, and they're still there today. And I go back to Sheldon Kennedy. He was a big part of that. He speaks in those programs, and we're going to try to make sure that every player, every parent goes through those programs so that they really are careful of where they put their son and their daughter as they play this great game.
Have you changed your hiring practices for coaches, do you think?
Yeah, we have. You know, there's a lot of security checks around it all, and you know, hopefully no one's slipping through the cracks, and we have to continue to work at that every day. And you know, we get a lot of the brunt of it in hockey because we're hockey.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere in our society, and everyone has to work on it. But when you have people like Sheldon and Theo out there speaking about it now, that helps us, and hopefully we'll remove that from our game in the future.
Yeah, Theron Fleury and Sheldon Kennedy have been incredible spokespeople for the game.
Unbelievable, and you know, I've seen both of them grow as people, and that's the positive part of that story.
So here we go. As we approach, you know, the holidays, for most people, the Christmas break, celebrate it or not, it's a few days off. It's a thing. We all gather around the television. We like to get involved and watch a little World Juniors hockey. And then I imagine for you, it's a time of a lot of nausea before the game starts.
Yeah, you know what? There's so much hype around these games, and this one's going to be special. You know, in Calgary and Edmonton, and I look over the 30 years, and we've had some great teams and great players. This is going to be the biggest we've ever had.
Who's the biggest threat to Canada this year? Is it the Russians again?
The Russians will be good. We've seen a lot of them through the Subway Series here. Sweden and U.S., they're going to be tough.
It'd be nice when the Swedes ascend again. You know, they used to be pretty important in hockey circles, and they kind of fell off for a while.
Yeah, we like them right where they are.
Bob Nicholson, of course, the book would be a hell of a gift. It's 30 years of the game at its best. We'll be right back.